Thank you so much, folks. Well, I've known Gene a long, long time, going way back to the days of the Fabulous Embers. Gene was a guitar player, and for whatever the reasons, Gene was a guitar player twice. And I can't remember what the circumstances were, but Gene and I have known each other for both of our lives a long, long time. And Gene was my partner when we went to Africa to start our business. Used clothing. Boy, it was a hot item too. So Gene and I did pretty well for a while. But I had a story that I was telling one of Gene's kids, and of course he isn't going to tell certain stories to his kids. But this is a safe one to tell. So on one of our trips over, we went to see Hubert Humphrey. Remember Hubert Humphrey? Yeah. So Hubert Humphrey gave us a whole bunch of things, just things, written things, gift things, all sorts of things to give to the folks in Togo, which was the country that we were operating in at that point, Ghana and Togo. And so we did. But while we were on this particular trip, we were the special guests of President Iyadama of Togo. Can you imagine Gene and I? You've got to be kidding me. So at this particular dinner, I was explaining to one of Gene's daughters, they had a table about as long as this room, and in the middle was a great big tray of all the seafood you can possibly imagine from whatever. So a guy who was high in the government by the name of Alphonse Baka had his social wife with him. You know, over there you can have several wives, and this was a young, good-looking gal. So Gene and I rode in his Peugeot, about 20 feet long, to this special event honoring President Iyadama. So Gene and I somehow managed throughout the course of the dinner in the evening to have a little too much to drink. So the next part's going to be a little hard for you to believe, and I don't know if I believe it myself. But I know I saw Gene get up in that big tray full of seafood and dance in it. But now, when I accost him with it all these years later, he denies it and says, I was the one in there dancing. Well, could it be that the both of us were dancing in the seafood tray? I don't know. But one of us has forgotten and one remembered. So Gene was a good partner. We did okay for a while. But like everything else, you know, that we do in our life, it never works out just the way we planned it. So that enterprise finally ceased. But anyway, I wanted to share that one funny story about Gene. And there's so many others. My word, I could be up here for the rest of the afternoon. Gene was a special person. I loved him very much. And I miss him. And of course, we did the whole deer camp thing together. Without Gene, I would have never been involved in that. And lots of other things too. Did you know that Gene was a minister? Yeah. He seriously was. Yeah. He had lots of talent and ability. He could arts and drawing things. And he was a good friend. Okay, that's it for me, folks.